Volron! He really was still alive.
And there's the Renis Alma. Then, is this another spirit channeling ceremony?
Wait, though. Something doesn't seem right here.
Once more, the powers must be united. Born from the fires of chaos, the world does seek its rightful state. All must be sacrificed in the heart of Rena, at the shrine of the true sovereign.
What has happened to him? He's lost himself, reduced to a mere cog in the machine.
Hey, look! Over there!
Isn't that the Maiden's crest?
Can it be that this entire chamber is meant to act as a substitute for the Maiden?
It looks like it's still running, but... are we already too late to stop the ceremony?
If that's what caused Lenegis' transformation, then the purpose of the ceremony must have been to drain all the astral energy out of Dana.
But for what purpose? What could possibly need astral energy on that sort of scale?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll bet it's connected to those visions of oblivion. Regardless, we cannot stand by and let them steal Dana's energy. That said, we should retrieve the Renis Alma. Because right now, we need that most of all.
He's not gonna lunge at us out of nowhere, right?
Not the time, Law.
Alphen, look!
The Red Woman! So we finally found you. I have a lot of questions for you.
Wait!
What?
They all have the same face? How is that even possible? What is this?
Who the hell are they?
It can't be. Are they even people?
It's hard to know for sure, but I think they're the true rulers of Rena.
They're not feeling particularly talkative.
No use, Alphen. If we don't fight, we may as well be sitting ducks here.
Good point. Let's stop them before this gets out of hand.
Celestial Hammer! Raise their I'll heal you all!
Dragon! That's freaking done
May
this!
1,000 gales tear you to shreds!
Seismic
Rusty nail!
Now it's my These fists have got your name on them! In your face! Can you take it? Super Now I'm in the groove!
Glacial Spear! Here's evil!
On a roll now!
Freeze Laser! Charge! Will this help? Thunderblade! You get the gist! Healing Circle! Annihilation! Mega Ray!
On your knees! It was nice while it
Radiant
lasted!
Star! Flash!
Reflection
Healing
like
Circle!
this. Forgive me.
Ready to go! Arrow forward!
Execution!
I'll heal you all!
Not much fight!
Light Astral Raging Cascade! I'll bring you back from death to magic advance! Freeze Lancer!
I'll blind you with a shot! Elusive deity!
I'll bring you back from
Blind you
death
with a shot! I'll let you all down! Take
Where are
this!
you going? Holy Lance!
Not done yet!
Will this help?
Burn in hell!
A whale! Lightning!
Begin!
Healing Circle!
Seismic rupture!
Just pull myself
Just getting started! Reflection like
Lightning!
this!
Can't see
my
Forward
right
rocket here!
blade.
Let me help! Hurricane!
I'll end you! That's freaking done
Illuminate
this!
the dark! Hear my call!
wide
Holy
and you are
Glimmer!
all mine!
Holy
I've
Lance!
let you all down.
I couldn't make it in time.
I'll bring you
Negative
from
J!
death to this! Lightning Raging Cascade! Spread! Fire power of water! Illuminate the
Will this help?
Come forth, Holy Glimmer!
Can't get out of this!
I'll tear you apart!
My leash is even lit!
Can you take it? Glimmer Dragon! Anything in order.
Waterfall!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
I see you. You missed.
Magic is here!
Time!
You get the jet. In here!
Elusive deity!
More for the stockpile!
Will this help?
Oh, violent darting
Elusive
magic is
deity!
healing circle! Crossblade!
Everlasting dark!
Hear my
No
call!
dawn shall break this night.
Here's Eagle!
Eagle Ray!
Freeze Lancer! Rain down!
I never miss!
You're mine!
Here's a healing art!
Ignite! Hurricane! Tornado drop!
A freezing storm!
Winds of heaven! Cyclone! Ice tornado!
I'm on a roll now! Elusive deity! Sonic spear!
Freeze Lancer! Magic is air thrust!
Begin! Armor won't save you!
First
Can't
aid!
get out of this!
I'll be saving this
This
one!
one's mine! This one's all mine!
You're mine! Rupture!
Easter!
Magic is air!
Flame inside me! You're here to be let free!
Where are you going?
Now I'm in the
Burn
groove!
in hell!
That's like it does it! First strike!
Lightning! The flames will roar!
Hurricane!
Sleep now. I'll be saving
Super Swallow Day!
Lightning condensed!
Now I'm in the
Flame inside me! Yours to be let free!
Holy Land! You get to have
Bestow
One
right
freezing storm!
ruin.
I owe you just with the doctor.
Bloody hell! I'll smash you!
Mega Ray!
I'm on it! Super Swallow Day!
Where are you going?
I've let you all down.
In here!
The flame inside
burn
me!
you back
Yours
from
to be let free!
Soul with life!
Resuscitation! That's what the doctor ordered. Hear my call! I can do this all day!
No further!
Mega Ray! Holy Land! You get the gen. Sleep now. I'll be saving this one. A new leaf on the first breath!
Eat
Where
this!
would that came from?
Everlasting dark! Negative gate! Not my finest!
Divine Savior!
Bloody
Healing
howling!
circle! I'll bring you back from death's abyss. May 1,000 gales
picked the
carry
wrong
you to
fight.
tread.
The
Resuscitation!
everlasting darkness!
Negative!
No pay for that! Thou art of being interrupted!
Vanquish darkness!
I'm grateful.
Gravitas field! Mega Ray! Divine strength! Gemini Alpha! Mega Ray! Quantum
Can you take it?
Lightning
I'll thank
raging
you.
cascade! Here's a healing art! Spread! First aid! Between heaven and earth! Magic is there! Mega Ray! You get the death! Gemini Alpha!
Don't get carried in your face! Titanic Rupture! Elusive deity!
Dance in the wind!
Tornado
Mega
drive.
Ray thrust! A whirling
I'll
circle!
thank you!
Winds of heaven!
Ignite!
Does it hurt?
Field!
Elusive deity!
I'll be saving this one!
This is some punishment.
Ready and ready!
Hear my call!
I can carve through armor!
Spread! Crossblade! Here's the air thrust! Freeze Lancer! Divine! Resuscitation! Darting wind! Freezing storm!
My pride is my downfall.
Go
This
get it!
one's all mine!
Ice tornado!
I won't give up!
Solid storm! Show thy mystic mercy!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
What was I thinking?
Eat this!
One violent darting wind! Car wall! I owe you. Sleep now by the power of the orb in the stockpile!
Scream.
Mega Ray!
Blood.
By the power of lightning! Thunderblade! I owe you all! Too much to handle? Not on my watch!
Bloody
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Illuminate Mega Ray! Come forth! Holy Glimmer! Holy Lamp! A chain between heaven and earth! Healing circle! A wailing density of lightning!
I'm in your debt. I'm sorry to trouble you.
You do the same for me.
I'll hear you all! I can do this all day!
My reach is even wider! Seismic rupture! Elusive deity!
Freezing
Dating
storm!
wildfire!
Here!
Now you see what I can do!
Freeze Lancer! Needs to be healed.
Now the mighty have fallen.
I'll heal you all! Ready! Healing circle!
You picked the wrong fight!
Holy Land! Chain between heaven and earth! Magic
Elusive deity! I'm on it! Dating wildfire!
Feel!
Denied!
Maybe this way! I'll heal you all!
Elusive deity!
Healing circle! Where would that came from? Water of water! If it's in the sky, it's mine! Render!
In a bind?
Here's a healing arm!
Seismic rupture!
First aid!
Elusive flame inside me! Cured to be let free! On your knees!
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Water, hear my call!
Begin!
Carve now! To all! Quick flame! Blah, blah, blah! Sleep now! I never miss!
You picked the wrong fight!
Here's what this! Now where that came from!
Bloody hell!
Here's our song! Holy Land!
Negative
Here's E! Blah, blah, blah! Air
First strike! Watch it!
Dance with the wind! Air thrust! A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing Banshee from death! Blah, blah, blah!
Armor won't save you! I'm just getting started! Storm! That is the spot! Come and get it! Lost my focus! Ripping you apart! Denied! First strike! Super Swallow Dance! Death Blossom! They smite till they come on a roll now! This was not my finest!
Winds of heaven! First force! Cyclone! Radiant sword! That'll bring you down! Celestial River!
Heal! I really owe you one!
Help this!
Super Swallow Dance!
Lightning to down and roll! Thunderblade!
What's this?
The
flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Burn
in hell! I'll run you through! They smite with blackened blade!
Freezing storm!
Negative gate! Ready to go! Oh, you are gonna pay for that! Ready and ready! First strike! Talon Storm! I'll smash you! What's this? Talon Hurricane! Denied!
Steel force!
Death Blossom!
Power of water!
Now I'm in the groove! Watch it!
Feel! More for the stop!
I'm on it!
Do it!
Ringwell! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! I'll heal you all!
Surrender! Fighting is useless now!
Do you think it's really over?
Astral energy. Watch out! They've got something up their sleeve!
What?
It's self-destructed?
Alphen!
I'm okay. Just a little roughed up.
You had me worried there.
Who said you could touch that?
Damn it! He's awake!
I should have thought as much.
So you know this place?
Naturally, it was built for me, after all. We'll save that for another time. More pressing is how I'm going to tear you apart.
Even after all this time, you still insist on hating me?
You cut me down. Sovereign or not, you will pay for that.
You're obviously bluffing. You can't even move right now.
Really, is that what you think? Did you really think that such a petty device could hold me?
Are you going to claim it's because you're a ruler? Be it sovereigns or lords. In the end, they're all titles given by someone else.
Plus, what kind of ruler would spend all his time chasing Alph, who happens to be another sovereign?
Idle prattle. I proved my worth and the Sovereign's powers were granted to me.
Were they really? We already know the title of Sovereign doesn't denote royalty. It is but an overblown codename for those with a designated part to play in these proceedings. You mentioned before that you were not the only one stolen from Dana, correct?
Yeah. There were countless. And every one of them besides me died.
All of those failed experiments, and they still kept going back to Dana. There must have been some vital reason their subject had to specifically be a Danan. Then there were the records we found in the library, for you and Volron. They were locked 300 years apart, and yet the data they took from you was exactly the same. Which leads us to a single conclusion.
Then you mean Voron was kidnapped just like Alphen? But then he became a
slave from Dana. Just like us. Isn't that right, Volron?
So he posed as a Renan and caused all that suffering to his own people?
How could you? If you knew the pain of being a slave, why would you inflict that upon others?
Renan and Dana are meaningless distinctions. Me and everyone else. That is all that matters. I will stand above all others and take what is rightfully mine, starting with this.
A red woman?
Another one?
Give your master back on Rena this message. No one makes a fool of me. Let them know I'll make them suffer.
Don't do it!
Serenus Alma!
It's too late! You can't stay here!
We need to go! Outfit!
Go. But know I will be your shadow no matter where you try to run.
Let's go.
Never forget, I am the one who devours everything. Who answers to neither spirit nor man. My word is law. I am.
Are you two okay?
Yeah. We'll be fine.
Is Volron... have we finally seen the last of him?
We can but hope.
Those red women. What the heck was their deal?
Could they be the ones behind all this? The same ones who put those soldiers in Faria in a trance?
What, those brainless things? Either way, they've done a runner with the Renis Alma. Damn it, that's the second time now!
Whatever's stolen from us, we'll steal it back. The future's ours to protect. And right now, those things are what's standing in our way. We can head them off at Rena.
Did you say Rena?
Volron mentioned a master of theirs holed up in the motherland somewhere.
If that monstrous form's their true identity, I shudder to think who they take orders from.
Yeah. There's a good chance it's not human. That's for sure.
So this thing over on Rena, that's what's really behind all this, huh?
They have the Renis Alma in their grasp already, so it's unlikely they'll have cause to return to Dana. I agree that Rena's our best shot.
Then we're agreed. Let's head back.
But seriously, I was not expecting Volron to actually be here.
He seemed to care not one whit about Renans or Danans.
Yeah, not in a good way like with us.
I didn't see that coming about Volron. As for those red women, to think they were monsters all along.
Tell me about it. One minute they look perfectly human. Next thing you know, they're not actually human at all.
They definitely weren't Renan or Danan. I'm not even sure language would get through to them.
So what were they then? Human Zook
Is the most terrifying thing.
How about you, Shion? Dohalim?
No, never. However, if they're the same as the Red Woman we've seen with Volron, I think it's safe for us to assume they understand.
I had just so much I wanted to ask them.
Unfortunately, they blew themselves up before we got the chance. Why would they...
Both sound plausible to my ears. They took off with the Ren.
Yeah, they did. And the next time we meet...
No further!
Freeze laser!
Down on the ground! Take this! A showdown between blade and fist! Bring him down!
Don't get in my way!
I'll face you!
Holy Land!
Holy Land! Fire support! Leave the ensnaring to me. Yeah! And tunneling to me! Begin! I'll grind you into dust! Down on the ground!
Here's a healing art!
Fall back! Miss him! You should have messed with me! First strike! Stay sealed!
Spread!
Talon Storm!
Shooting star! Freeze laser! And air thrust!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Too slow!
By the power of lightning condemned!
Snake is the abyssal trick
You picked the wrong option!
You're wide open! Super slow!
Now, Zoe! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes!
Here I
Faster! Risen! Watch this! I'll grind you into dust!
Lightning orb! Raging
On your knees!
Mega ray! A chain between heaven and earth! Magic is there!
Stalagmite!
I never miss!
Pieces!
Blah, blah, blah! In here now!
Freezing storm! Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Lady Fortune must truly be watching over me.
Little help!
First strike! No further!
All disasters made one! Come
Eat
on!
that! Watch it!
It's like trying to keep up with the water!
I'm on it!
Here's the First blood!
Armor won't save you!
Ignite!
First strike!
You get this!
Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
There! Talon Storm! Back into the fray!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'm on you!
Raging storm! Savage roll!
Down
Now!
on the ground!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Laser
You're wide
spear!
open!
Piercing
On
bolt!
your Death blossom!
Freeze laser! Raging storm!
You managed to pull through.
Retreat if you know what's good for you.
Too slow! Hey, sit! I'll finish you here!
Not today!
A wailing dance!
As if the normal creepy crawlies aren't disgusting enough.
Talon Hurricane! Sorry! Take this! Ribbon, I'm on a roll now! Far enough! Death Blossom! I'll run you through! I'll grind you into dust! Elusive beam! I'll smash you! I'm on! Eagle Wave!
I never miss!
Talon Hurricane! Down on the ground! First strike! Talon Storm!
Mega ray!
Ignite!
On your
Shutdown pile!
Risen Tear! Death Blossom! Shattering Pieces! Attack time!
Confiscated!
I'll end you! First strike!
Here's Mega ray!
Raging Luna Storm!
Mega ray! Air thrust!
Talon Hurricane!
Power of water! Seal!
Death Blossom!
Mega ray!
The flaming dark is yours to be let free!
Stars of light!
First strike!
I can handle it! This one's mine!
Down on the ground! Super Swallow Dance!
Sleep now!
Talon Hurricane! Down on the ground! Death Blossom! You're not the black! Heal my weary companion! Sure! Go for it!
Charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
I'll crush you! Ah! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'm on it! Elusive deity! Glimmer dragon! Watch this! I can carve through armor! Dance on the wind!
This one's mine!
Heal my ears and power! Cure! Another incantation ruined! Instinct shot! Sorry, you do the same to me! Now! Don't leave! Hey! Blow them away!
They really made us work for that one.
Forgive you!
Far enough!
Take this!
Gemini Onslaught! Air thrust!
Take this! Eat this! Your reflexes will not serve you well here.
Glacial Spear!
Piercing Voice! Source of regeneration! Regenerate! That freaking does it! No to this! Eat this! Elusive Deity! Begin! Eat this! Super Swallow Shake! I'll crush you! this tenebrous claw! Raging Lunar!
Where are you going?
Talon, I'm on a roll now!
Do it!
River! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
I'm just getting started!
Penumbra!
Could have been worse.
What the? When did it get pitch dark all of a sudden?
The lights are all out. Think it has something to do with the explosion back in the Forbidden Zone? Doe?
You two.
Faria, Avakir. Thank goodness you're safe.
Avakir filled me in about everything. About how I ambushed you all.
She doesn't remember a thing. So she really was being controlled.
He told me about Tarnigan, too. Is it true?
What difference does it make? What's done is done.
Stop casting me off, just for once!
Faria, not now. It can wait. Dohalim, Lenegis is in grave peril.
So I can see.
It's the city's core reactor. It's damaged. Some of the basic systems we've managed to keep online, but complete restoration's still a way off.
You're an elite technician, though. You can fix it, right?
If so, then what's the problem?
Panic's begun to set in among the citizens. Until now, whenever something like this happened, the Sovereign would issue a decree. But this time, not so much as a peep. Any longer and we run the risk of riots breaking out before we can get things back up and running.
Forget the Sovereign. I doubt you'll be here.
What's that supposed to mean?
Suffice it to say, the Sovereign isn't the kind of ruler we thought. That is, if he ever even existed. Which is looking doubtful.
Are you out of your mind? Why, if people knew that a lord such as yourself was
There's no time to explain now. It sounds like we need to find a way to keep Lenegis from spiraling out of...
We need to stop that riot.
But how do we do that?
Riots feed on discontent and unrest, right? So if we want to keep the peace...
At ease. Like by letting them hear directly from someone they That's it. Who's the highest-ranking person in Lenegis right?
Lenegis wouldn't have a next in line. After all, you said the Sovereign rules over everyone directly, right?
Correct. The closest thing to an authority figure would be a lord. And the only one left is... Ah. Very well then. Avakir, you mentioned a few facilities were still online. Which ones?
Why hasn't the Sovereign said anything?
Please, won't somebody explain what's going on?
Is it over? What's going to happen to all of us?
Heed me now, fellow Renans of Lenegis. It is I, Lord Dohalim Ilkaris of Eldaman and Sia.
Look, up there! It's Lord Dohalim!
Hold on! He should be in the crown contest! Shouldn't he? Why isn't the Sovereign talking to us?
The Sovereign is seeing to other matters right now. In my capacity as Lord, I speak to you in his stead. You're afraid. As people so often are when faced with the unknown. I hope you'll allow me to put your fears to rest. The city's core reactor has experienced a malfunction. However, we have our top engineers attending to the matter, and things will soon be back to normal. I know that you feel abandoned, perhaps more scared and alone than ever before. But I ask you all to keep one thing in mind. You are Lenegis, not the Lords and Sovereign. The solidarity of its citizens is the mortar that holds it together. If we don't allow ourselves to be distracted by our differences, if we put our hearts and minds together and stand as one, I am confident we will find new hope. I would be honored to stand with you. Not as a person of loftier rank, but as another human being among many. I hope that you'll lend me your strength, for if we can persevere as one, I know. A bright tomorrow awaits.
Your speech seems to have done the trick. Looks like the city won't be descending into chaos after all.
I only pray the relief will tide the city over for the time being.
What you said earlier, about the Sovereign possibly not even existing, was it true?
It's still too premature to say with any certainty.
But...
I can believe it. After everything I saw in the Forbidden Zone, what they did to Faria, it's the only explanation that makes...
But what about hierarchy, Avakir? Authority? The very foundations of Renan society?
I'd say we found someone capable of doing just that, wouldn't you?
You?
I have business I must take care of first. But once everything is over, I shall but not as your sovereign. Nor as a leader, the likes of which the people here are used to, I think.
But... how else do you propose to rule?
I'm not sure yet. All I have is a feeling that here in Lenegis, a new dawn is on the verge of breaking. One in which people won't be judged by birthright, or on the power of their astral arts, but on other things. More important things. Things like... oh, I don't know. Musical talent, for example.
When I bumped into you after all those years, I said you were no different. But I was wrong. Truth is, you were always different. I feel like maybe now I can...
You go finish whatever it is you've got to do. I'll hold down the fort here in Lenegis.
Thank you.
I guess you're not going to make it to Menancia for the foreseeable future, huh?
Indeed. Forgive me.
The people of Elda Menancia can look after themselves just fine. It's the ones here on Lenegis who need some... Besides, with you leading the people here, it'll help spread the idea of coexistence beyond Menancia's borders that much faster.
Sounds like you're in it for the long haul.
How could I not be? After this... From this day forth, I shall dedicate myself to the future inhabitants of this world. Though the memories of the departed shall remain forever in my heart.
Remember, you're going to be leading the people here, not ruling them.
True enough. Whatever would I do without you, Kisara?
With or without her, I suspect you're gonna have your hands full when the time comes. We should be heading back to the ship. Business on Rena. Looks like the people of Lenegis can rest easy.
I couldn't have done it. without your words of encouragement, Law.
Hey, you're the one who made the speech.
I think everybody can share the credit here.
In one sense, when all is said and done, perhaps I have been a slave this whole time.
You, a Renan...
I was complicit in the Renan system, bound by its values, resigned to being swept along. And when I realized the severity, a lord, and yet my first instinct...
I think I can relate. I couldn't stand watching my people bow and scrape their way through life, but I didn't know what else. The ability to think for yourself and be your own master. That's what separates a slave from a free person. Zephyr taught me how to fight. But in doing so, he also taught me how to live.
Even if it means stumbling along the way. If it's on a road of our own choosing, free of regret. Why, that's the road of freedom. Or, to put it another way, so long as his heart is compromised, even the loftiest of kings is no freer than us. This Zephyr character sounds like he was a...
There's just so much I wish I could ask him.
How long have you known?
Known what?
About the darkness I carry inside me.
Why ask me now? What does it matter? But yes, I have. I've pretty much known that something was gnawing at you ever since we left Menin.
So basically since the very start of our journey, then.
Leave the past where it belongs. If my brother could see you, he'd be proud.
Not as proud as he would be.
Well then, just as well it's not a competition.
Kisara?
Sorry. Did I look distracted?
Among other things. To be entirely honest, I couldn't tell whether you were smiling or frowning.
You were thinking about Dohalim.
That obvious, huh? I was just thinking how good it is to see him moving forward. It was always so infuriating, knowing how capable he could be if he just put it... But now, he's finally beginning to spread his...
So, then why do you...
Oh, I don't know if I'd say sad. There's a bittersweetness to it, I guess. It's good and... strange. Knowing that he won't be needing me anymore. It probably sounds weird, doesn't it? I have this...
Must be that maternal instinct of yours.
Rinwell's right. You're like a mother bird, finally letting go as her child takes his first shaking and nervous...
A pretty big...
That's one way to look at it. I wouldn't like to see Dohalim's face if he heard you say... All this has made me realize, if Dohalim can forge his own path ahead...
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Did we really? You just spend that much money?
There's no way you can complain about how this tastes! Thought we'd find answers on Lenegis, but we just ended up finding more questions.
You can say that again. And now we have more problems to fix too. Like figuring out how to reform Lenegis.
That can wait for now. We've got more than enough on our plates to deal with as it is. Like figuring out who's really running the show on Rena.
Yeah. Which is why we're going to the Renan homeworld.
All the answers we've been looking for are on that planet. The person with the answers have to be there. Are we prepared to finally find them?
So, what do we do first when we get there?
We know nothing about the Renan homeworld or what we might face once we arrive. We should get a feel for how things are on the ground before we take any serious steps.
It's also entirely possible that the first thing we're going to face is an attack.
If we come across a capital, we should... What? Damn! The hell just happened?
Our course has been altered. The coordinates are pointing to a different destination.
What's that?
The ship's controls aren't accepting my commands. The engine is being shut down.
That's bad, right?
Quite bad. We've lost control of the ship.
Is all of this the Red Women's doing?
Are they trying to finish us off before we can land?
Everyone! Look there!
A flower blooming out of Rena?
But that flower looks like it's absorbing all of Dana's energy.
And it appears Lenegis is serving as a conduit for that energy to reach here. Could that have been its true purpose all along?
If that's true, do you think the people back on Lenegis are all right?
We can only pray that they are.
Damn it! Haven't they taken enough already? When is this going to end?
The Flower of Oblivion.
With everything that's happening, we need to get back to Lenegis. Is the ship still offline?
Unfortunately, yes. Even more so than when it lay dormant.
Can you fix it?
Starships are extremely complex machines. One wrong move while we're out here in space could very well cost us our lives.
So what? We're just stuck inside here, floating around? For how long?
I don't believe this. We've made it all this way, and now we're stuck here? We're watching Dana die before our eyes, and we have no choice but to sit here and starve to death?
Law, calm down! You're not the only one who's worried here.
Right. Sorry.
It's still too early to give up. There has to be a way to get out of this.
Alphen.
Now what?
The starship, it's back online?
No, this is different. Something is pulling our ship in towards it.
We managed to get moving, but where are we?
It looks like Lenegis in here.
Do you think we might run into more Renans here? Or those red women?
Perhaps. Someone brought us here. The question is, who?
We haven't been ambushed, so that probably means they aren't hostile. Still, why would anyone want to bring us here?
Hey, Shion!
If they wanted to attack us, they could have done so while we were back on the starship. We should see where this path takes us.
Shion, just in the nick of time. Here, lend me a hand while I...
No!
What the... Oh, right.
No, I'm the one...
Again, Law? Can't you even go a minute without putting your foot in...
Seriously, it's fine. I'd rather that than people feeling like they're walking on eggshells. Besides, I'm the one who should be vigilant about not touching you.
Actually, I've been meaning to ask.
I guess I never really thought about it in those terms. Before long, it was just part of my everyday... Which isn't to say I didn't feel...
So numb to your reality?
It's fine.
But I can't even touch you.
I appreciate that. Until I get rid of these thorns, I guess I'll have to put up. Maybe it'll be soon, maybe it won't be. But either way...
Yeah, just hang in there. One day, we'll share a big warm hug. You'll see. I promise.
What the? Are you out of your mind?
Oh, come on. How am I supposed...
It's called experiencing feelings appropriate...
Yeah, but seeing you act all nervous, you're making me start to feel nervous too.
Oh, sorry.
Staying alert is important, but too much caution can cloud your judgment.
still can't get over what we saw happening outside the starship.
Yeah, our planet's really not doing too hot right about now.
I've only ever seen Rena from the surface of Dana, so I figured it was just another round planet like ours. Still though, I never would have imagined Rena actually... looked like that. And what's the deal with that giant flower coming out of it?
Beats me. I have absolutely no clue. It's so surreal. It looks like a broken egg or something.
Rena and Dana. We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies that floated amongst the stars in the heaven. But to think that they lied to us not only about the Sovereign and the Crown contest.
Dohalim.
Okay, who's the wise guy that summoned us here?
Someone formidable enough to bring our starship along with us.
They must be here somewhere. Let's find them.
That beam of light joining Dana and Rena. It was the Renan side that it first came from.
That's what it looked like.
Perhaps it was some kind of directive from the Renan...
Which would mean that whoever's behind all this is on Rena after all. But what are they...
Try to stay calm. It's... What is it?
No, it's just so much for me.
You made it this... You notice something, you change it. That's all anyone...
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that? It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or is this their true form?
So it was a trap?
It doesn't look like it can move. Tell me, are you the one who brought us here?
That is correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
It can talk!
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Hevrect 35. Is that your name?
Correct.
What is this place? No, wait, before that, just what exactly are you? Are you somehow associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of red women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a threat most grave.
What do you mean, serve? Are you saying there really is someone more powerful than the Red Women, pulling their strings?
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any way. Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you. However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed you as a danger now.
Oh goody, more riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
Like it or not, it may be our best chance at a ticket out of here. Let's at least hear it out.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helganquil. The red women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form.
Helganquil?
You are on Dake Phasol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's great spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the great spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan. As I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Rena and Dana from this position.
A question. What is this great spirit of which you speak? Is it something that rules over your kind?
Correct. The great astral spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
A voice? Just like Dana.
The voice of the great spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it without question throughout the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this great spirit be the true sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dana back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus. If Dana has a will of its own, I don't see why Rena wouldn't.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dana has a will like Rena, then that would mean that we've been controlled by the voice of Dana this whole time, just like these things.
Dana's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but...
Let's assume that what Hevrek 35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dana's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dana is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Rena's great spirit. Rena's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dana's is shared among all its constituents. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegus are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy. And the pursuit of that desire is why you see Rena in its current state. As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dana.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dana?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegus was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renasalma.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. However, recreating the Renasalma required a vast amount of energy. That is why we turned to Dana.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest. An efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dana.
This is all happening because of me.
Nevertheless, you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Hevrecht 35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
A request? But what could someone like you want us to...
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
What makes you say that?
Lenegis has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dana's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Rena. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean... you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
Others? Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Dake Faisal.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us. Let's take a look around.
You can't seriously be buying anything that creature...
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long.
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole... That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dana, I suspect I would find its story much...
The spirit of Rena wants to see Dana completely
But why? Astral energy is
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going...
Right.
There is one other thing that concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough. But what about...
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevrecht 35 never even brought up the Rena...
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Let's find out.
Are you just going to keep standing around or what?
Sorry, I'm just getting prepped over here. Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevrecht 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Rena, do you?
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
Have you guys lived up here in Daeg Fazel with Hevrecht 35?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time...
Why are you all even here?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrecht 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrecht 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis?
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. Things are going just fine. Not that it'll be around much longer. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of—
Thank you for answering. Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next—
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena,
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renan—
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer—
Apparently not.
Please, tell—
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Renna.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are... In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use Astro Arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries.
They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and...
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while. Do you know anything about it?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Renna.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's...
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the...
We have a winner! However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans and Helganquil that... For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Rennis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana.
And the crown contest...
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, a new Sovereign had to be... It was such tremendously difficult work. Its success was dubious. But from the look of things...
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden...
What about the flower that sprouted from...
Flower? Oh, that thing. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Ren...
Heverick 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes. Are we done talking now? If it's all...
He talks like the potential end of the world.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a...
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down.
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but... I think it...
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Renna's great...
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of...
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control. Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went...
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were...
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and... Why don't we all take some time to think things over?
That's a good idea. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead. Because it's not just Dana on the line, but Renna too. If we're going to do this, we need... So let's go ahead and break off for now. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and...
I'll go along with you. I'm in...
Sounds good.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot. Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that the Red Women... No, that the Helgang...
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Hevrek 35 has told us, that it...
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helgang...
But if Hevrek 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive...
No, I don't think so. Or at least I...
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us...
Make one, huh?